It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, Rugged Point Lodge on Vancouver Island, and Northwest Fishing Guides out of our hometown here in Everett. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We've got a great Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio for you this week. We're going to be talking to Tony Floor with the Northwest Marine Trade Association a couple of times. He's going to tell you who won the 22-foot Hughescraft Ocean Pro from the Northwest Salmon Derby Series and how you can enter for a chance to win a boat like this next year. We'll have that discussion at the bottom of the hour, and at the end of the show, we'll talk to Tony again about how he would be fishing the Resurrection Derby and the Friday Harbor Salmon Classic around the San Juans for Blackmouth, where he would fish and what he would use for success. But before we go there, let's talk about what's hot and what's not in the Pacific Northwest. One thing that is hot is chum salmon fishing off the bank at Hoodsport. Creel Checks found 125 anglers with 317 chum salmon last Saturday and 25 anglers with 49 of those dog salmon on Sunday. It would be fair to say the height of the run is here. Do you hate the thought of Black Friday shopping? I get it. I do too. Well, how about starting a new Black Friday tradition and go fishing instead? If you enjoy fishing lakes for trout, you'll be happy to know the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is stocking quite a few lakes around the state with big trout between the 21st and the 23rd. In the greater Puget Sound area, this includes American Lake in Pierce County, which is getting a plant of 2,000 one-pound rainbows. Anderson Lake in Jefferson County is getting 1,200 one-pound trout. Tanwax Lake in Pierce County, 1,000-pounder rainbows. Offutt Lake in Thurston County will get 1,000 one-pound fish, averaging 15 to 16 inches in length. Black Lake in Thurston County will get 3,000 one-pound rainbows, and Long Lake in Thurston County, which was actually planted on the 17th, got 1,000-pounder-sized trout. Check the regs before you go, because some of the stocked lakes literally don't open up until Black Friday, but when you go, I'm pretty sure you're going to get into some good fishing. What's not hot is salmon and steelhead fishing in southwest and south central Washington. According to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, fishing has been slow for steelhead in the Hanford Reach this fall. In November, staff members interviewed 69 boat anglers in 30 boats and 237 bank anglers, and altogether, they only had 32 steelhead. Boat anglers averaged less than half a steelhead per boat. Bank anglers fared slightly better at 21 hours per steelhead. To date, about 70% of the fish caught in this fishery have been ringgold origin and legal to harvest. The Lewis and Kalama rivers are both fishing poorly for salmon and steelhead, according to Creel Checks last weekend, but there has been some success on the Cowlitz during the past weekend for coho salmon near the Barrier Dam. Last but not least, don't forget that there is a free steelhead fishing seminar featuring 5 professionals at Three Rivers Marine in Woodinville today at 11 a.m. If you want to up your steelhead fishing game, you'll want to attend this seminar. And that's what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business. Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? It's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great content you need to have to be successful. Pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the US of A and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations, we cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Poachers, especially spree and serial poachers, they really get my blood boiling, and it seems to be happening more and more. From our sponsor, Northwest Sportsman Magazine, we learned the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is offering a $4,000 reward and 10 bonus draw points for information leading to the arrest of the individuals responsible for the November 6th slaughter of a cow elk and 4 calves in Schnebly Canyon north of Ellensburg in the central region of the Evergreen State. It's possible that a group of poachers surrounded this herd of 23 elk and then opened fire. No effort was made by the shooters to salvage any of the animals. They were left where they fell, and game wardens are concerned other elk in the herd may have been wounded as well. If anyone listening today has information about who may have done this during the last day of elk hunting season in this area, please, I'm begging you, call the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife poaching hotline or the local office. We need to get these jerks out of the field and arrested for the felony they committed before they do any more damage to our big game herds. I mentioned these spree killings are in the news more as of late, and during our Trail of Shame segment this week, we'll tell you about several Montana teenagers who thought it would be fun to kill at least 15 and maybe 29 deer, one of them a trophy, and an elk, shooting the animals after spotlighting them at night. The last of the defendants just pled guilty, and the teens involved will be paying some hefty fines and losing their hunting privileges for a long time. What causes this behavior? Does the shoot-'em-up video gaming phenomenon have something to do with it? A clear lack of respect for nature and wildlife is certainly at play, but where does that come from? I suppose the parents in some cases, to be sure, but I suspect there's more to it than that, and blaming the parents and their video games doesn't really hit the mark. No, there's something else going on here, something dark, and I only wish our judges would punish poachers a lot more than they currently do, because if they did, that could well be more of a deterrent to these sort of actions taking place. This week on the show, we are covering a lot of ground and going a lot of places. We're going to start off with a conversation with Lan Tawney. He's the president and CEO of the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and we're going to get his opinion on what public lands management is going to look like and the dangers that it faces with Republicans in charge of the White House and Congress. After that, we're going to take you to the Oregon coast, specifically the area around Tillamook. Nan Devlin will tell you about all sorts of things you can do out there if you're an outdoors enthusiast. We're talking fishing, we're talking crabbing, we're talking clamming, we're talking wildlife watching, hiking, and more. Duck hunting has been rough for a lot of folks in the United States just because we're waiting for that weather to bring the northerns down, and the locals have gotten pretty educated. Well, there is one diamond in the rough, one place where the hunting is good, even though there's local birds, there are a lot of them. That place is not far from Portland, Oregon. It's at the Sauvie Island Duck Club. Ron Spada is going to tell you about that. And while we're in the Portland area, we thought we'd drop by Cascade Marine, talk to Ken Estes. He's going to weigh in with his thoughts about the addition of ethanol in boat fuel and what that's doing to engines all over the country. If you're a fisherman, whether you are after billfish or other fish and you don't want to throw your fish in the fish box because they get all banged up, and you don't want to put them in the cooler because that's bulky and a hassle to deal with, consider an insulated kill bag from Reliable Fishing Products. This company is out of Southern California, and Paul Robbins will tell you more about these bags that I think you're going to want to have as an angler. We've got outdoors news from Alaska, where it looks like they're going to be raising license fees, from Tennessee, where an unlucky firefighter got bit by a headless rattlesnake, about a potential world record whitetail deer also taken in Tennessee, and the incredible story of a young hunter in Montana who took his little brother out on an archery elk hunt, and instead of finding a bull elk, they came face to face with a charging bear. What happened next is something you're definitely going to want to hear about. So, let's go ahead and put another log on the fire, pour ourselves a cup of coffee, and analyze those election results and figure out what it means to people like you and me who love to fish and hunt on our federal public lands, whether they be Forest Service lands, BLM lands, or otherwise. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, the election is over. We have a Republican Congress. We have a Republican president. What does this mean for us in the outdoors? Well, we thought we'd get an expert to go ahead and tell you. His name is Land Tawney. He is the president and CEO of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers based out of Missoula, Montana. Land, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me again, John.
So, Land, Republican Congress, good news from a Second Amendment point of view, little concerning from the point of view of public lands management because there's been several Republican Congress members and even the Republican Party platform has said they want to transfer control of some of our public lands, BLM lands, Forest Service lands, to the states, and that's probably not a good thing for us as sportsmen and sportswomen, is it?
No, I mean, I think anytime that they start talking about transfer, the states cannot afford to manage these, whether that's fire, road maintenance, anything. And so I think that talk is pretty scary. I think that, there's a growing number of sportsmen and women and then also just outdoor kind of recreational folks like kayakers and hikers that are really starting to, see this ploy for what it is, and so I'm confident that we can beat it back, but people definitely need to step up to the plate.
So we've got this going on in Congress, but we have President-elect, who's soon going to be in the White House, Donald Trump. What is his point of view when it comes to public lands management and access?
Sure. So, something that he kind of separated himself early on in the campaign from other candidates and really has said no, that they don't support kind of transfer and or sale of public lands. And, I think we're all interested to see kind of what happens now. But I'm taking for him at his word and something that he, again, kind of separated himself from the rest of the pack at. So, he's got a couple sons who hunt on public lands, and so he gets a lot of input from them. And so I got to think that we'll be okay at the presidential level, but we all need to stay vigilant because you never know.
Oh, absolutely. But it is good news that if a bill does make it to his desk, that at least he's indicating early on that he's willing to veto that and keep public lands in public hands.
Yeah, just even having you say making it to his desk makes me nervous. That'd be the farthest any of this kind of stuff has gone in a long time. And, that'd be a bad implication of kind of where we are. But like you said, I think that there'd be a great opportunity for him to veto a bill like that because that is not good for the American people. That only serves a few that would stand to make a bunch of money.
So with Republican control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, a lot of things are going to be happening early on, the first 100 days as they call it. Do you expect public lands management to be one of those issues in the first 100 days, or is this going to be down the road a little bit that we have to worry about this?
No, I think, public lands issues are vitally important, and they've been talked about both at a presidential level and at a congressional level throughout the kind of campaign season. So I think there are priorities. What I hope is something that they tackle in the first 100 days is really has to do with fire and getting, fire off of regular Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management budgets, and so that, they can spend more of that money on access and habitat improvement. As it stands now, fire takes up more than 50% of the budgets of both those agencies, and that's not a good thing. So I hope that's something that's addressed. It's something that can be addressed in a bipartisan fashion. I mean, there's stuff that's being worked on right now with folks on both sides of the aisle, so I could see that one as something that could be done right away.
Well, I hope you're right. That certainly would be helpful if that occurs. If the fire borrowing practices stop and the Forest Service and BLM can actually use their budgets to do some of the maintenance and other things that they need to do to keep our public lands in good shape. Land, we've got to go, but before we do, let's steer people towards the Backcountry Hunter and Anglers website so they can find out more about these issues.
Yeah, it's just Backcountry Hunters, which is plural.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So we're all over the place. It's time for people to step up, and hopefully people do that.
That's backcountryhunters.org. Again, backcountryhunters.org for the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. This is a great organization. I'm proud to be a member myself, and I think if you check it out, you might want to be a member too. Land, thanks as always.
Hey, John, thanks, and good luck this fall for the remaining of it.
Thank you, sir.
Maxim Marine in Eugene is Western Oregon's friendly, family-owned dealer for North River and Thunderjet boats, two of the biggest names in heavy-gauge aluminum boats. We also provide award-winning sales and service for Suzuki and Yamaha outboard motors to give you peace of mind on the water. In addition to this, we sell and install Garmin Electronics, the premier brand of fish finders, autopilots, and radar. And if you need new power on your current boat, we can give you the best pricing around on repowers. That's Maxim Marine. Come see us in Eugene.
Homer Ocean Charters, offering premium halibut and salmon fishing since 1979 in Homer, Alaska. We also offer kayaking, hiking, remote cabin rentals, and water taxi service to all destinations in Kachemak Bay State Park. Call 907-235-6212 for reservations. That's 907-235-6212. Again, that's 907-235-6212 for Homer Ocean Charters.
MBB Industries Incorporated makes one of the best PDW stocks you can get for your AR-15 or AR-10 rifle. Made in the USA, our stocks are lightweight, 23-ounce and 28-ounce respectively. The stocks are also small and collapsible and can be expanded in 1-inch increments. Every one of our ARC stocks comes with a lifetime guarantee. Find out more at mbbindustries.com or give us a call at 954-480-6448. That's 954-480-6448.
Sitka Point Lodge and Fishing Charters offers the premier fishing lodge experience. They offer all-inclusive fishing and lodging packages for king salmon, halibut, and rockfish. In addition to great fishing, you'll enjoy gourmet meals, first-class service, and understand why 80% of their clients are return customers that arrive as a guest and leave as a friend. Book your Alaska fishing trip now at Sitka Point Lodge by calling 888-747-7406 or go to sitkapointcharters.com.
Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Tom and Jerry's Boat Center in Mount Vernon is Washington's largest Hughes Craft and Kingfisher aluminum boat dealer. As a leader in sales, service, and fun on the water, Tom and Jerry's only purpose is to make sure you end up with the right boat for your family's needs at a price that will make you smile. Whether it's a new Hughes Craft or Kingfisher or a new Yamaha or Honda outboard, Tom and Jerry's can take care of all your needs. Check us out at tomandjerrys.net, and we'll see you on the water.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It is the monthly publication that covers fishing, hunting, and a whole lot more in the great state of California. Look for it at a newsstand near you. Next up, we're not talking California. We're talking about the Oregon coast with Nan Devlin. She's with Tillamook Coast Tourism. Nan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, Nan, I had the opportunity this summer to spend some time in the greater Tillamook area and had an absolute blast. And I thought that we'd go ahead and share with our listeners some of the fun things you can do down there year-round along the coastline in the Tillamook area. And I guess we'll start off with the fishing, because as we speak, there's some really good salmon and steelhead fishing going off right now, isn't there?
There is. This is fall Chinook season. I mean, the fish are lining up to grab your bait in the beginning of October. And it's still going strong, especially in the Tillamook Bay, what we call this area called the Ghost Hole, but also along the rivers. Fishermen have been lining up along the rivers, and we have several here, the Wilson, the Trask, the Tillamook, the Kilchis, and the Stucca. We're getting excellent reports on people are getting their maximum catch within just a couple, 3 hours. So that's great. And then you mentioned steelhead, and that beginning to start. It'll hit bigger in December and January, and we're one of the premier places for steelhead.
Oh, absolutely. And folks, if you're wondering how to go about catching either the salmon or the steelhead, stop by Tillamook Sporting Goods. It's a big store right in downtown Tillamook, and they do a great job in terms of not only providing you the gear, but providing you advice so you can be successful out there.
They are. Their store is filled with people who really know their stuff, and they can help you have a great time.
Oh, absolutely. Let's turn our attention to crabbing. When I was there this summer, had an absolute hoot crabbing out there, and you know the limits for the Dungeness are very generous, and the size was amazing.
Yeah, and actually December is a terrific time to go crabbing. That's when some of the part of the peak season is really happening. And, it's pretty easy to do, too. You just need a crab pot, and you can stand on a dock and toss that over and have a beer while you're waiting for the crab to come. You can do that, or you can go out in a boat. You can go out into the bay and catch there. You can also go out with a guide, and sometimes having a guide is really fun. They'll take you out in the boat, they'll bring you back, they'll cook the crab for you, pack it, send it along on your way. Or you can just eat it right there on the dock. And, we get pretty mild weather here in the winter. Of course, we like to tell people that it rains all the time, but it doesn't. It's surprisingly mild. And so you can have a great time in December in a boat in the bay and be very comfortable and catch a lot of crab and fish.
You're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Nan Devlin with Tillamook Coast Tourism out of the great state of Oregon. We've talked about fishing. We've talked about crabbing. Let's turn our attention to clamming. And a cautionary note here. Usually clamming in your area for razor clams is really good, and north of you as well. But as it stands right now, razor clamming is closed because of high acid levels in the clams that make it dangerous to eat them.
Yeah, and that's been going on for most of a full year, which is really too bad because razor clams are my favorite food on earth. So we've had to go without for a long time here. However, there's a lot of other kind of clamming and lots of other types of clams that are great to eat, and of course oysters. We're known for especially Netarts Bay are known for our premier oyster beds. And that's another thing you can do. You can go out in a boat, you can get a gun or just a shovel, or just use your feet. Sometimes just using your bare feet to dig into the sand, and you'll get some clams, enough for dinner.
And folks, there's nothing wrong with the steamers, with the cockles, with the horse clams, and like you said, with the oysters. So there are lots of opportunities there. Something else we should talk about besides just the getting food for the table is some of the wildlife that's out there, especially the marine wildlife. You've got some great viewpoints to see whales, to see seals and sea lions and more.
We do. In fact, one of the best whale watching spots is out on the headland at Cape Lookout. So you go to Cape Lookout State Park and you hike out about 2 miles. You can just see forever from there, and it's one of the best viewing points for whales.
Speaking of state parks, Cape Lookout State Park, I stayed there this summer. Absolutely loved that place. I love the beach there. And you've got other state parks as well that are definitely worth visiting. Absolutely.
There's Nehalem Bay State Park, which is in the north part of our county near Manzanita and Nehalem. And it's terrific with lots of hiking trails and horse paths. And they have a whole horse camp there. You have the bay and the ocean there. It's a terrific park. We just love it. And, it's amazing. Both Nehalem Bay State Park and Cape Lookout State Park have a lot of winter campers.
Really?
Winter camping is it's a terrific experience. And we have yurts in both of those parks and cabins. So if you don't want to, pop up a tent, you can, or you don't want to take your RV out, you can book a yurt or a cabin in either one of those parks.
One other thing we need to talk about, there's a couple things. Folks, if you're going to be going to the Tillamook Coast, you've got to stop at the Tillamook Cheese Factory and get the ice cream there, too. That is actually one of the top tourist destinations in the state of Oregon. You've got a lighthouse. You've got a lighthouse we need to tell people about, too.
Oh, yeah, Cape Meares Lighthouse, which it's known as the shortest, stoutest lighthouse on the West Coast. But it's beautiful. That is also a great place to look for whales, do some whale watching. But surrounding Cape Meares State Park are a lot of trails. And it's a terrific experience year-round. Now, sometimes in the winter, the lighthouse itself isn't open because it's all, manned by volunteers.
Sure.
But the whole park is open, and you can really enjoy the views there.
Nan, we are running short on time, but before we go, let's give folks a website so they can find out more about visiting the Tillamook Coast in Oregon.
Sure. It's tillamookcoast.com, and we have things to do, places to stay, places to eat, and we have a great blog with lots of stories about things to do and places to go. And please, look at the blog, because you'll find everything from fishing and hiking and, walking and camping. So there's a lot of information there.
The website again, tillamookcoast.com. That's tillamookcoast.com, your destination for all sorts of fun on the Oregon coast. Nan, thanks for telling us about it on America Outdoors Radio.
Oh, thank you.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Waterfowl season is quickly approaching, and the Sauvie Island Duck Club is the place to be. Just 10 miles northwest of Portland, Sauvie Island is a hub for wintering populations of ducks and geese, making it an ideal location for hunters. Sauvie Island Duck Club offers day, month, and year-long memberships, and they are open 7 days a week for all of your waterfowling needs. Spots are still open for fall, so contact them now for prices and reservations. Find out more at siduckclub.com. That's siduckclub.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
And now we get to talk to Tony Floor with the Northwest Marine Trade Association about who won the Hughes Craft Ocean Pro 22-foot boat from the Northwest Salmon Derby Series. Tony, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing well. I understand there were 4,500 entrants, all people who competed in the Northwest Salmon Derby Series in 2016, and we have a winner for that boat, don't we?
That's right. Of those 4,500 names, John, there are a total of 14 salmon derbies, so whether you catch a fish or not doesn't matter. By just participating in the derby, you go into the raffle to win this boat. So this is boat number 13, $85,000, 22-foot Hughes Craft Ocean Pro, powered by a Merc 225. Beautiful boat, fully rigged, electronics, Scotty downriggers. And the gentleman that won it is out of Issaquah. He participated in one of last winter's derbies in February. It's called the Ironman Derby, better known as the Olympic Peninsula Salmon Derby, and one ticket, and he won. So his name is Matt Griffin, and what a cool guy. He is a vet from the Afghan conflict or the war, and didn't have a boat, and so he was so excited when I called him and said, "Hey, dude, you won," and he asked me if we could take a time out, and I said sure, and he started yelling at the top of his voice, honey, get on the phone. So a fantastic winner. He's doing a lot of post-war things for the Afghan people. Started a business of making flip-flops from war materials.
Wow.
Pretty wild, and putting Afghan people to work, sending kids to school. What an awesome winner. So he's about ready to claim the boat, and to say he is excited is an understatement.
Well, and the great thing, folks, is you have a chance to win next year's boat. They're giving away another one. They do it every year. All you have to do is compete. You don't have to win. Just compete in the Northwest Salmon Derby Series. They happen all through the year, and just by entering and competing, your name's in the raffle, and you can win potentially just like Mr. Griffin did. Tony, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
You bet. And to find the details about the Salmon Derby Series, John, go to NorthwestSalmonDerbySeries.com.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Wetlands are some of the most important ecosystems on Earth, but our wetlands are quickly disappearing. Find out how you can help. Join Ducks Unlimited today.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by Northwest Sportsman Magazine. It is the monthly publication covering the hunting and fishing scene throughout the greater Northwest. Look for it at a newsstand near you or go to their website, nwsportsmanmag.com. Speaking of the Northwest, a lot of people are out there trying to hunt ducks this month. I've been one of them and have not had a lot of success east of the Cascades, so thought we'd check in with Ron Spada. He is with the Sauvie Island Duck Club right outside of Portland, Oregon. Ron, welcome to the show.
You betcha, John. Thank you.
So, Ron, it's been tough over east of the Cascades, not only in Washington, but also in Oregon and in California as well. How have things been over in the Portland area?
We've been blessed with a lot of local duck, thousands and thousands. We had one of the biggest opening weekends I've ever had on Sauvie Island. And we've got tons of DU projects around, which make little pseudo-refuges. People aren't hunting, but we have the feed so the birds venture out at night, and they've been using our area by the thousands. We have a 1.25 miles long piece of property, about 400 yards deep, and we've got 4 or 5 different shooting areas in this, and they're feeding right now in one of our big lakes. It's about 13 acres.
Quick question for you, Ron.
Go ahead, John.
You know, when it comes to local birds, they get educated in a hurry. I mean, I understand you had a great opener, but are they shying away from your hunting areas right now or not?
No, we get weather, and those birds are active in the area. And today, just this morning, we shot 42 birds this morning in an hour and a half.
Oh, my gosh.
Mostly mallards, a few pintails, and I think 1 or 2 widgeon. But most of these are local birds. Most of the birds we shoot on Sauvie's Island, most of the mallards in our lakes are local birds. Band returns, we've already gotten 6 that I know of this year, all local birds, and we'll get these band returns locally until the end of the season.
Wow. I am just a little bit jealous, Ron, but of course, that's why you've got a duck club. Another question for you. The lessers, the geese, have they made their way down in the Willamette Valley yet?
The cacklers and taverners, which the The Tavener is close to a lesser, and it's not as big. It doesn't have as big a head on it as a lesser does. But we have lots of cacklers. There's probably I think that between the Taveners and the cacklers, there's 600,000, 650,000 in the Willamette Valley.
Wow.
And we have as many as 70,000 of those at Sauvie Island at any one time that feed in our fields. So, and we have a lot of stubble right now that they're in one of our clubs. There's probably 3,500 to 10,000 geese of all different denominations in there feeding right now.
Oh, my goodness. This sounds fantastic. So, again, folks, Sauvie Island, located just northwest of Portland, appears to be the place to go. There's public land there, but the Sauvie Island Duck Club has got some really good land that's there. And is it too late to join this season? Can people still go ahead and go hunting?
No. We had a lot of people. Most of the hunters we get are my age or older, so we're talking late 50s to 70s and 80s. And a lot of my guys this year went down because either their spouse or they went down with health concerns. So we still have, at the Sauvie Island Duck Club, we still have openings. And that's $2,000 for a 7-day-a-week shoot.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the sort of hunting you're describing, and the Northerns haven't even come down yet, it sounds like it may well be worth the investment. So the website...
Oh, you bet.
Make sure I got the website right here, siduckclub.com. Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
That's where to go, folks, siduckclub.com. Find out more about the Sauvie Island Duck Club, because as you just heard, duck hunting's not going really well for a lot of folks in the Northwest or the Western U.S. right now, but this is the one diamond in the rough that you might want to take advantage of. The website again, siduckclub.com. Ron, thanks for sharing this good news with us.
You betcha, John. Thank you.
Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we thought we'd check in with our friend Ken Estes again at Cascade Marine in Portland, Oregon. Ken, question for you. There's been fuel changes in the boating industry, specifically with the addition of ethanol. How is that affecting boat motors, new and old?
Well, it's interesting. For the older boat motors, it just eats the rubber off the diaphragms inside the fuel pumps. So, your fuel pump starts leaking into the motor, actually, on especially a two-stroke engine, and then it floods out the motor, starts up. Sometimes it idles, but you go to rev it up, and then it dies because it's actually choking it off. You take the fuel pump diaphragm out, and it's just white. The underlying material cloth is there, and the rubber's gone, or the rubber's been brittleized and cracked. So that's one of the many damages we see that the ethanol is doing.
Why did the government mandate the use of ethanol with fuel? Because I know, groups like Boat US were telling the government, hey, this is a bad idea, and some of the things you just described, they said were going to happen.
Well, the government tends to force things down to your throat, whether it's good or bad. I won't debate the merits of whether it's good or bad, but I can personally attest to the end results and damage. And it doesn't matter whether it's a boat motor, a weed eater, a lawnmower, or whatever. That stuff just, the older equipment hasn't been formulated. Most of the brand new motors have, a hard plastic fuel line. The old motors were using rubberized fuel lines. It delaminates that rubber apart. It pulls the inner liner off, plugs up fuel pumps, jellies up inside the carburetors. The ethanol also separates out inside a carburetor, just like it does in your gas tank. Separates out into water on the bottom, alcohol in the middle, and the gas on the top. Well, those three different chemicals have different electrical properties, and they cause galvanic corrosion inside the carburetor. And, if you've opened up, thousands of carburetors like I have, you'll learn really quickly, wow, that's impressively corroded.
So when we're talking about older boat motors, how old are we talking about? Not that old, I'm guessing.
Even the brand new ones are susceptible to that. When we get a guy here buying a brand new motor, or if he's looking to fix a 15 or 20-year-old motor, sometimes it's really not that cost-effective to fix an old motor. Sometimes you can't clean a carburetor. You can put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and you can clean it for weeks on end. It isn't coming clean enough. So, by the time you put a new carburetor and fix this and that, sometimes it's the opportunity cost to buy a new motor. Help.
Oh, boy. Well, I guess some people are going to be wanting motors for Christmas then. Any recommendations on motors that are exciting from your point of view?
Well, Mercury, I'm a big Mercury dealer here, so Mercury's still the number one propulsion manufacturer in the world. They make some really good products. You're welcome to stop by, check out the new 15s, 8s, 9s. Mercury, I supposedly have heard about a new self-cleaning jet inside the carburetor of the small engines. So that's relatively new. So that'll be interesting to see how that holds up. If you buy a motor here at Cascade Marine, we like to teach you a few little tricks that we've learned here to keep you out of the repair shop. So we show you how to take care of the motor when you're done using it. If you're not going to use it for a while, we'll show you what to do to that engine to make sure that fuel system doesn't corrode up.
Yeah, I got to give you credit there. That's definitely great service that goes with the sale, because a lot of dealers, they're just happy to sell you the motor, not say a thing, and then you're back in, because you don't know better, to get some costly repairs done.
Well, and that's the other part, is it's so much cheaper to do some simple service than it is to do full-blown repair. Everybody changes the oil in their car. They change the oil in the truck. The lawnmower. They look at that stuff, but I get people in here that, I haven't changed the oil in the boat in 4 years, or I haven't put a new water pump in it, and God, I don't know when. It's been 10, 12, 15 years. Folks, that's the lifeblood of your motor. It's way cheaper to put a, $200-300 water pump in, including the service, as opposed to getting out in the river, you're cruising along, you find out it's overheating grossly, you blow a head gasket, or you warp a head, or there's a lot of things that can go wrong. A little bit of preventative is worth a lot of money.
All right. Great advice and great insight as always. What's a website so people can find out more about Cascade Marine?
You can find us on the web at CascadeMarineCenter.com. It's all one word. Just spell it out. You'll end up right in our site.
All right. Thanks so much, Ken, for sharing this great stuff with us on America Outdoors Radio.
You're welcome.
Service is always cheaper than repair. That's a truism from Ken Estes at Cascade Marine Center in Portland, Oregon. Go ahead and drop by and see Cascade Marine for all of the parts, accessories, and honest advice you need to keep your boat and motor running. No one wants to be the guy plugging the boat ramp up because his boat doesn't start. So head down to Cascade Marine Center in Portland, or give them a call, or check out their website at CascadeMarineCenter.com.
Tom and Jerry's Boat Center in Mount Vernon is Washington's largest Hughes Craft and Kingfisher aluminum boat dealer. As a leader in sales, service, and fun on the water, Tom and Jerry's only purpose is to make sure you end up with the right boat for your family's needs at a price that will make you smile. Whether it's a new Hughes Craft or Kingfisher, or a new Yamaha or Honda outboard, Tom and Jerry's can take care of all your needs. Check us out at tomandjerrys.net, and we'll see you on the water.
Homer Ocean Charters, offering premium halibut and salmon fishing since 1979 in Homer, Alaska. We also offer kayaking, hiking, remote cabin rentals, and water taxi service to all destinations in Kachemak Bay State Park. Call 907-235-6212 for reservations. That's 907-235-6212. Again, that's 907-235-6212 for Homer Ocean Charters.
Maxim Marine in Eugene is Western Oregon's friendly, family-owned dealer for North River and Thunderjet boats, two of the biggest names in heavy-gauge aluminum boats. We also provide award-winning sales and service for Suzuki and Yamaha outboard motors to give you peace of mind on the water. In addition to this, we sell and install Garmin Electronics, the premier brand of fish finders, autopilots, and radar. And if you need new power on your current boat, we can give you the best pricing around on repowers. That's Maxim Marine. Come see us in Eugene.
Waterfowl season is quickly approaching, and the Sauvie Island Duck Club is the place to be. Just 10 miles northwest of Portland, Sauvie Island is a hub for wintering populations of ducks and geese, making it an ideal location for hunters. Sauvie Island Duck Club offers day, month, and year-long memberships, and they are open 7 days a week for all of your waterfowling needs. Spots are still open for fall, so contact them now for prices and reservations. Find out more at siduckclub.com. That's siduckclub.com.
Fishing season is here, and you need all the deck space you can get. With Reliable Fishing Products fish bags, you get just that. These fish bags will hold ice for 2 to 3 days and will help eliminate any smells that are associated with fish holes. Each bag has a drain plug for an easy clean and are completely collapsible for easy storage until needed for your catch. Simply open a bag, add ice, catch fish, and keep them fresh. What more can you ask for? Find out more at ReliableFishing.com. That's ReliableFishing.com.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. It's time for some outdoors news, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the Alaska Sporting Journal. It is the monthly magazine that covers the fishing, hunting, and outdoor scene throughout the great state of Alaska. Look for it at a newsstand near you. We start off with news from Alaska. A new law is raising Alaska fishing and hunting license fees in 2017. The new rates mark the first time in 24 years that hunting license and tag fees have increased, while sport fishing licenses last increased about 10 years ago. According to Commissioner Sam Cotton, Alaska's new prices are in line with other states and, in fact, are significantly less expensive for resident hunters because Alaskans don't pay resident hunting tag fees. Changes under the new law are not limited to fee increases. Alaska residents under the age of 18 will not be required to purchase hunting or fishing licenses or state waterfowl or king salmon stamps. Licenses for 2017 are available online at 2016 rates through the end of the year. Just go to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game website to find out more. In offbeat news, beware the headless rattler. That's the lesson learned by a Spring Hill, Tennessee firefighter who found out just how dangerous a rattlesnake can be even with its head cut off. From KSMV News, we learned Kyle Watson was evacuated by helicopter from a remote trail at the Creeks Bend Natural Wildlife Area when he came across a juvenile timber rattlesnake while hiking with his wife and 3 children. There were a number of people on the trail at the time, and Watson was concerned that hikers would be in danger with the rattler so close to the trail. So, Watson decided to cut off the snake's head with a kayak paddle. Once he did that, he decided it would be neat to show his children the snake's head. Unable to lift up the snake's head with his paddle, Watson reached down with his hand to pick up the decapitated snake head. Things went real wrong in a hurry. According to Watson, the head turned and struck me on the finger, it latched, and I slung it off. The snake packed a poisonous punch, and venom began to course through Watson's body. Watson said it took about 10 seconds for the burning sensation to start shooting through my arm. Within 60 seconds, I was unconscious. I fell on the trail and hit the back of my head on a rock. Following a quick response by local fire and EMS crews, Watson was flown to Vanderbilt Medical Center, where he was quickly put on an IV drip of anti-venom serum. Watson's going to be okay, but I'll bet you nobody in his family is going to try this trick again. We've got another story for you from the Volunteer State, and this one involves a new state record deer and possibly even a world record whitetail. From the Outdoor Hub, we learned this record whitetail was killed in Sumner County, Tennessee this month. The lucky hunter, 26-year-old Stephen Tucker. According to Captain Dale Grandstaff with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, there's no doubt it's going to be the new state record. I mean, that's an absolute. As far as the world record, the rack is about an inch over the current world record. As always, the rack must go through a 60-day drying period before being officially scored, but regardless whether this deer beats the world record or not, it's one heck of a deer story that this Tennessee hunter won't soon forget. Heading from Tennessee to Montana, we've got a story from the Outdoor Hub about a quick-thinking hunter who stopped a charging bear in a very unlikely manner. Russell Furster, 24, was taking his 11-year-old brother on his very first archery elk hunt. They were hunting in the crazy mountains this fall, got out of the truck, started calling a cow call, hoping to stir up a bull elk. Instead, a black bear busted out of the brush and in a few moments charged them. Russell was an experienced hunter, tried to raise his hands and shout. That didn't work. And worse still, Russell didn't have any bear spray or a handgun on him. So he did the only thing he could. He pushed his younger brother behind him, notched an arrow, and let it fly. The broadhead hit the charging bear right above the eye and dropped it at his feet. Wow, way to make a shot count there. And staying in Montana,
it's time for the Trail of Shame.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you.
Stories of poachers, scoundrels, and other ne'er-do-wells, so if you see someone committing a criminal act on the water or in the field, turn them in. It's the right thing to do.
From Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, we learned the final suspect in a prolific Montana poaching ring pled guilty to his crimes in Flathead County this month. State and federal officials investigated a big game killing spree in 2013 and 2014 that left 29 deer and an elk dead in the Flathead Valley and in the Lost Trail National Wildlife Refuge. The majority of the animals were killed at night with the use of headlights or spotlights outside of game season, and a trophy whitetail buck was also killed by the suspects in the same manner in eastern Montana. The majority of the 9 suspects were high school students and juveniles when these crimes occurred. In the end, they pled guilty to killing 15 deer and 1 elk. Because of their age, no jail time was imposed, but the defendants have to pay over $16,000 in fines and as a group have lost their hunting and fishing privileges for 47 years. Well, kids, I hope you learned your lesson, and I hope you also enjoy your walk this week on our Trail of Shame.
Shame on you.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we are heading to Southern California to talk to Paul Robbins. He is with Reliable Fishing. They make insulated kill bags to hold your fish and alleviate the smells associated with putting fish in your boat. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Paul, let's talk about your bags and why they're a better deal than throwing them in the fish box or throwing them in a cooler on the boat.
Well, as everybody knows, what's associated with the fish box, most of them are not well insulated, so they don't hold ice very well at all. And there's another problem, too. If the fish is in the hole with the water that has melted, they'll tend to slosh around and get beat up. It's just, why spend all that money on all the equipment in the world, going out to catch your fish and then not take care of your catch? So the insulated kill bags help you keep the fish fresh because they will hold ice for a couple of days. So you're not having the issue also of a large ice chest on deck if you happen to not have fish holes, and you can keep the bag stowed away until you need it. And they clean out very easily just by simply hosing them out with some water. You may use a little bleach, to put in there to alleviate any smells when you do pack them away. But the main thing with the kill bag is, the insulation factor on the Reliable bags. They will hold ice for a couple days with no problem.
Nice. So, Paul, this is radio, so why don't you go ahead and describe what these bags look like and how they're made?
Okay, the bags are made of a real heavy-duty vinyl, and our bags have like a gusseted bottom. So they're more like a lady's purse. They balloon out at the bottom, so they hold far more than a lot of other bags that are on the market that are made like an envelope. So they're, far greater capacity on our bags, and also the insulation factor there, again, is rated very high, so it keeps your fish fresh and cold for days.
And you've got a sturdy zipper on it, and of course you got carrying handles for it too, so that's handy. And you've got a couple of other products I want to talk about too. One of them is the Billfish Blanket. What is this, and why do people, especially fishing in Baja or south of the border, want to invest in this product?
Well, the Billfish Blanket was designed because of, naturally the long bill it's sticking out. What do you do with that? And so we came up with the blanket, so it's got Velcro on 3 sides, so you can lie your fish inside the blanket, let the tail stick out if need to be, as well as the bill, and then you can attach the Velcro up around the bill and up around the tail, and they again put ice in there to keep it fresh.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me now that you explain it. And one other product you have, and this one, especially since I do a little kayaking myself, your kayak bag, and this can be used for fish, but it can be used for other things as well.
Yes, the kayak bag was designed because I had several people kept coming to me saying, look, all the kayak bags out there on the market fall apart. Why don't you make something out of the same materials that all the rest of our bags are made from? So they hold up and they hold ice very well, just as like our other bags do. The bag is so well received in the marketplace, we private label for Hobie Kayak. We have a label inside the bag showing that it's a reliable bag, but we do also make those for Hobie. Yeah, all of our bags are made with YKK zippers. Every bag that we make has the best zipper on the market.
Well, if you're making them for Hobie, you are doing quite well. So let's talk about where folks can find out about reliable fishing products.
Well, they can go on our website, www.reliablefishing.com, and see all of our dealers. We do post all the dealers that handle them, as well as a lot of our dealers have me drop ship for them. So you can get your bag within, generally, when they place an order, we ship out same day. And we have all bags in stock all the time.
Well, there you go, folks. It's reliablefishing.com is the website. Go ahead and check out their products. I think you're going to be very impressed, and I think you might want to invest in some of these kill bags or the billfish blankets or the kayak bags. It's reliablefishing.com. Paul, thanks for telling us about this on America Outdoors Radio.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
We hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast. If you get a chance, go to our website, AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You can find a podcast of the show there. In case you didn't catch all of it, we've got a Facebook page too, and we're doing a giveaway. After we reach 1,100 likes, we're giving away a pair of binoculars from Leupold. That Facebook page, just look for it at America Outdoors Radio. I do hope the good Lord blesses you today and in the week ahead. It is a great time to be out there fishing and hunting and to give thanks because Thanksgiving's coming up this week too. Remember, it's your country in your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're back with Tony Floor again with the Northwest Marine Trade Association. Tony, 2 salmon derbies coming up at the beginning of December, the Friday Harbor Salmon Classic and the Resurrection Derby out of Anacortes. Folks are going to be fishing for blackmouth around the San Juan Islands. If you were going to be competing in this year's derby, either one of these, what would you do? What tactics would you use for success?
Great question, John. This is a big boys tournament weekend. There are 2 derbies, one out of Anacortes, the Resurrection Derby, and the other out of Friday Harbor. They both occur on the same days, so there'll be quite a few boats out in the San Juans. You have to remember, first of all, the San Juans opens December 1st, and so I believe that there's going to be fish all over the place. I think fishing is going to be really good. All of the indicators from the other areas, North Puget Sound, eastern Strait of Juan de Fuca, behind Whidbey Island, have been outstanding so far this early winter. So I think places like President's Channel on the west side of Orcas, Spring Pass, Obstruction Pass over by Blakely Island, Rocky Bay on San Juan, and of course Humphrey Head. I mention those places because we have a high water on the first day of the Derby around 9:30 in the morning, and then a soft ebb for the next 5 to 6 hours. So the good news is there's going to be fish all over, so I don't think it's going to matter a lot in terms of where you are, where you're fishing. It's find the bait and you will find the blackmouth. It's as simple as that. You just want to corkscrew down on the bait balls near the bottom, and the blackmouth will be right in the vicinity.
Are you going to be fishing, or would you be fishing herring, anchovies, or something else?
Most of the guys that that live up there, the locals, they like to mix it up. They'll throw on a kingfisher spoon, maybe a coho killer, and you can never go wrong with a herring, a whole herring or a plug cut herring, and then see what part of the menu the fish seem to go after the most, and then make the adjustment. Some days it's spoon, some days it's bait, but being flexible and fishing within 10 feet of the bottom, that's the key.
All right, well, there's some great advice for you from Tony Floor about how to catch blackmouth around the San Juans, whether you're fishing the derbies or not. Tony, thanks as always.
All right, wonderful to talk to you, buddy.
Looking for a way to get the message out about your business to hunters and anglers throughout the Seattle and Everett area? Then consider advertising with America Outdoors Radio on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO. To find out more, contact John Cruz through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.